It was the end in space. It was the ultimate. It was ASYLUM. For thousands of years, our world enjoyed a most advanced civilization. Violence was practically unknown, and when it did occur, immediate and stern measures were taken. Incurable? Completely. We've tried every technique known to science without result. The first case in 50 years. But our past history has shown us how dangerous even one violent man can be. Then it's the ASYLUM? For a moment, the glazed eyes of the madman cleared. The thick haze of sullen anger lifted. The dim shroud faded away. Stark, livid fear gripped him. No, not the ASYLUM. Not there. Quick, Athnos, an injection. Put him to sleep. If we cannot help him, at least let us not torture him with this dreadful knowledge that it pierces even his clouded mind. Their work done, the two doctors filed out to the waiting relatives, their hearts heavy with the news they had to impart. No, please, don't send him there. You can't send my son to that place. I am sorry, madam. We have no other choice. As you know, our whole society is based on the sacredness of life. We never put a human being to death, and if any of us threatens the safety of another, he must be removed forever. I know nothing except that I will never let you send my boy to the place you want to. We'll appeal to the courts, my dear. Surely they will not agree to such a barbaric decision. Teldan was a just place. Each man's rights were respected and protected by the law. But when the appeals judge heard the case, the medical commission has decided correctly. There is only one thing to do with a man turned incurably violent. My very soul shrinks at the words, but it must be the ASYLUM. Word spread fast in the small town. Did you hear? They're sending him to the ASYLUM. Heaven help him. The ASYLUM. Thank Karnak, it's not me. His crime was terrible, but the ASYLUM, no, I think it's too horrible. At that very moment, the medical commission was meeting. Fear is making the people restless. We must not prolong his departure by a moment. Make all necessary arrangements. Yes, sir. Inject him with sopalmine to erase all his memories, so when he lands there he won't recall any of his life here. Meanwhile, I must consult the records. It is so long since the last case, I'll have to brush up on the procedure. Here it is. Then communicate at once with Space Patrol, have them summon a ship, and as soon as it arrives, take him out and let them depart at once. I'll communicate your orders, sirs. Half in terror, half in dread curiosity, the townspeople watched as the inert, drugged form was wheeled into the huge spaceship. The head of the medical commission briefed the captain. It is a long trip, millions of miles through space. Here is the route you are to follow, and here are your instructions. You must follow them exactly to the smallest detail. Yes, sir. You are to land inconspicuously, surrounded by an invisibility screen. Leave him and depart at once. Finally, you must remember that under no circumstances is he to return. I understand, sir. Anti-gravity tanks sputtered, the space drive purred, and the tense populace watched as the ship took off into dark space. Poor devil. I feel sorry for him, but what else could we do? Days passed, then weeks, while anxious eyes scanned the skies. Then, they're returning from the ASYLUM. Notify the spaceport at once. Signals were sent to the spaceport. The runways buzzed with activity, and the spaceship glided to a gravityless landing. Hurry! Send for the medical commission at once. Urgent! The doors of the rocket remained shut. Then they swiveled open and the pilot stepped out. The commissioner looked at him and blurted angry threats. You brought him back, Captain. He was not to return, and yet you brought him back. I'll have your commission, Captain. Please, sir, it was unavoidable. We never encountered anything like it. You have to listen. After blasting, space travel was uneventful. The patient was quiet and the crew settled down for a long trip. When we arrived within a few thousand miles of our objective, the ASYLUM, we set the telescanner and sighted her. Well, Captain, we made it. Yes, prepare to land. Without thought, almost lazily, we set the lateral flaps, and the ship tailed in. We saw a delegation of the planet's natives, but not the ordinary kind. They were advanced, intelligent, developed beyond our wildest conceptions. Captain, you'll have to return. We will accept no more of your madmen. We've accepted enough. Too many of them in the past. I don't understand. This has never happened before. The speaker was silent for a moment. Then he turned, pointing to a city, a marvelous city of growth, far outstripping even, excuse me for saying, sir, ours. Finally, he spoke. No, you would not allow it to. But despite your lunatic frenzy you shipped to us, we've progressed. Look, Captain, look around. This is only one of our many cities. I see. He turned to me, sir, and there was a power in his voice. I could not contradict him. I could not unload our madman. This planet, I knew, would not take him. Since our war of missiles, our helpless planet has been the dumping grounds of space. But that's over now. Turn back. I returned to the ship as the turbo-hydrogen engines clicked into blast. I looked out the spaceport and knew that here was a civilization that could very well take care of itself. The pilot finished his account. The commissioner listened, nodded his head, and began to think. That's the story. Do what you want now, sir. Don't worry, Captain. We'll have to find another asylum now that Earth has turned us away.